Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. So we have Red Bull Ring short course for the first round of the FIA Manufacturer Series. So surprisingly, I went with Porsche of all people. So that's the Cayman in the GR4 class and the 911 RSR in the GT3 class, GR3 class, if you will. So this is the GR4, as you see here, Porsche Cayman. I was nervous. I'll be honest. I was very nervous with choosing Porsche. I was previously in the R35, but last round I just found the GR4 too slow. To me, it just didn't have the pace. It was lacking in a lot of circuits. I was struggling in areas that I knew I shouldn't, especially for a four-wheel drive. The weight was a bit weird. And then now moving to the Porsche, it's even weirder because the weight is not so much of a problem, but rear engine balance, it sort of caught me off guard driving it. And even when I was practicing, if you watched the last live stream when I did the manufacturer's test, I was using the Porsche and it just didn't suit my driving style. So coming into round one, when I chose the Porsche, I had a mini panic attack, as you would have seen in the live stream if you caught that. Just with the fact that I wasn't comfortable with the car. That's what it boiled down to. Surprisingly, I put it on fourth in qualifying. I still don't know how I did that, considering I had some pretty good company battling for that position. But I got fourth, so the option on tyre strategy was taken away. I was going to choose to run on mediums for the whole stint. I knew I could make the tyres last. But I got fourth. I said I want to be ahead of everyone else, so I'll go with softs, try to build a gap because I don't want to be bunched up in the pack, and that's how you can have accidents. I needed to get my SR up, my mana points, so that was the main focus. Not DR, but just getting the mana points back up. So we start the lap. As you see, coming down the main straight, it always helps to start at the head of the grid, so you don't have to start on a chicane or a corner. That's never good. But lights out and we're off. You'll see fifth place, the Mercedes, get a nice tow into the turn one, and he takes a lunge on cold tyres. Now I'm watching the radar and I was watching my mirrors and I see him coming in, so I brake early, give him enough space, and obviously he outbrakes himself and goes wide. I still couldn't figure out why you would dive down the inside carrying that much speed knowing you had cold tyres, but it is what it is. I was prepared for the move and I was prepared to fight back if he did manage to stop, so I had both bases covered. Early on into the lap, you can see I'm just taking it slow, warming the tyres up, learning the car. I still wasn't comfortable with the car, so again, it wasn't me just trying to be cool by driving slow. It was me literally trying to figure out how to drive this bloody thing without getting any penalties. And if you keep an eye at the end of the race, you'll see I didn't get any penalties for the whole race, where everyone else did. So out of a field of 19 people, one car didn't get penalties, and I'm very grateful for that. I'll say I did pretty well. Tyres are warmed up by now. I still don't have a feel for the car, but the tyres are warmed up, picking my braking point. Start braking around the 100-meter mark, or just before that, just to make sure I can get enough speed, I can get the car pointed where I want to, get it settled, go over the yellow sausage curb, and be comfortable. That was the only plan. You'll see through the S's here, taking it nice and easy, on the throttle, feathering it a little bit, just making sure I stay on the rubble strips, don't get any penalties, because it's very easy to run wide there. And once you're in the gravel trap, you lose a lot of positions because it doesn't look like it, but it's actually high speed. Again, just getting a feel for the car. First, maybe 4 to 5 laps, you see I missed the apex there. I still was not comfortable with this car. The soft tires helped, obviously. The soft tires are helping me stay ahead, and it's doing what I wanted it to do, which is keep me in the front of the pack. But again, it was fooling me into thinking that the car was stable. Obviously, you'll see when I go mediums, I did struggle a bit more for pace, but that's okay. Still learning the car, getting a feel for the balance. You see I run a bit too hot into turn one. Nicely caught. It could have been a penalty, but obviously avoided, so that was very lucky. Nicely caught. What I'm noticing, you'll see the guy behind me gets the penalty anyway. What I'm noticing around here, lap 3, lap 4, you can point, if you're gentle with the acceleration, modulate the brake, trail brake in, and just point it where you want to. As long as you're not forcing the car to go in a direction it doesn't want to go, it will generally do what you want. So you'll see brake nice and early, ease on the throttle, point where I want to go, and just let it run. Don't force it, don't try and drift it, don't try and be too aggressive with it. Just let it flow. And as I'm learning lap 4, lap 5, as I'm learning this, I'm getting a lot better. You'll see, if you take a look at my lap times towards the end, lap 20, lap 21, you'll see my lap times are literally all in the 53 mark, bar a few. And that's just the car. That's not my driving. I'm not a very good driver, but this car just made it so easy to be on the limit, not 100% on the limit, but be on the limit, but just carefully, just ease into the corner, tell it where you want to go, feather the throttle, trail brake if you have to, and just let it do its job, and it will. It's a beautiful car. It's absolutely lovely. The power was good. It wasn't, I'd say it wasn't enough, maybe, to keep up with the front runners if they didn't get the penalties, but at the same time, with some clean driving and obviously better lines than I had, you would be quicker. 100%, no doubt. You'd be much quicker. So aside from that, and me just rambling on, I'll let you enjoy the rest of this lap. There's some interesting fights that come up mid-race, and I'll pop back when I need to say something important. Thank you. So you can see the cars in front of me, second and third place, having a bit of a battle. I'm sitting back watching this because obviously I'm privy to the battle ahead, and I'm watching them get slowed down. They're taking each other into corners, basically holding each other up, and that's allowing me to just creep ahead. Now, one tip that I can say regarding online racing or any racing that you're going to do is don't force the issue. Let the people in front of you do what they want to do, battle it out. You'll see I almost run into the back of these guys. I have to slam on the brakes pretty hard, lose the back end a little bit. That's how much they were slowing each other down. So you see I go for the move. He was compromised coming out of that corner because of what they were doing, and that just gave me the run. Now, you always need to be aware of your surroundings, and that's one thing I learned early on. You could be in a tussle with someone else for, let's say, 5th place. Now, the guy behind you in 6th or 7th is watching all of this, watching you guys slow down, lose some lap time, take non-normal entry lines and exit lines and corner speeds and things like that, and he's just sitting there, he's waiting. Once you make a mistake, like you saw what I did, you pounce, and that's when you get the position back. So you'll see Bond Wizard lost a lot of time, he runs wide, he's trying to play catch up, and I've been in that position. I've lost a position where I've tried to catch up, and you force it. You try to make it happen, and you run wide, you mess your lines up, you kill your tires. It just doesn't work. So if you do lose the position due to some error, wait for the guy that passed you to start battling with the guy ahead of him, and then just try to keep up with him and make the move that they did to you. Basically, wait for them to make a mistake, slow exit, slow entry, unconventional line, and pounce. So if there's any advice I can say is don't try and rush. If you're having a battle, pick your moments. If you have to back out of a corner and give him the space, do so, because you can attack him with a better exit rather than trying to force the issue, compromise the entry, and then you just lose a lot of ground. So as you see, I made it up to 3rd just because of them, just watching them, just being patient, and that's probably the biggest tip I can say is just bide your time. It's 23 laps, it's a long race, you got enough time to make the moves. Coming onto the main straight, you'll see 2nd place, the GDR, get a penalty, a 1.5 second penalty. So I'm not sure actually what he did, but it's a pretty big penalty for a corner cut, I think. But he's got the penalty. I'm pretty close behind him, getting a good tow, and I'm just being patient, just waiting, because I know there's no point rushing the issue. He's going to have to slow down anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just stay on this gearbox, get as close as I can. Obviously, there's, I could dive down the inside, try and make the pass. No need. I'm going to stuff myself up. So I'm just being patient. If the guy in front of you gets a penalty, and I've seen these people do it before, They try to pass you before you reach the penalty line. There's no point. You're going to slow down anyway. You're just compromising yourself. So you see, he slows down. He moves to the right. Very graceful. I appreciate that because he's probably... I think he was an A driver, actually. But very respectful. If you move to the right-hand side, it just tells people, look, you got a penalty. You're giving them the space. You don't have your ghost car in their view and things like that. It's very distracting. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You do see the GTR fall back, and good and bad. Good because obviously I was in second place and I was making up some ground to first. Bad because he was just basically looking after the tires and just managing his pace. So in the end he gets me, obviously. I had a bad stint towards the end on the mediums as they were dying. And that's one little thing I noticed about the Porsche. Towards the end of the tire life, it became very understeery. You'll see I run wide there. I'm not well on the exits, on the curbs and things like that. So that's one thing I've learned very quickly is once the tires get down to a certain level, the car doesn't like it, the grip disappears, and you've just basically got to be extra careful because you will understeer, you will run wide. You don't have that much grip. You see, I missed the apex there again. You don't have that much grip as you once did. So that's one little tip with the Porsche. Just be very careful once the tires get worn down. So it's pretty boring for a little while. I think it picks up around maybe lap 15 or 16, maybe even 17 when the GTR comes back into play. So enjoy that little battle. So I was getting a bit, you could say, distracted with the ghost cars. It was a bit hard to pick your braking points and lines and clip the apex and things like that with these shadows in front of you or in the cockpit or going through the cockpit and things like that. So honestly, I'm trying to clear these guys as quick as I can. They had pace, they were quick, they were racing on their own. And this just all allowed the GDR to just creep back in there. You see, he's gotten ever so close. I have bad exits coming out of this last right-hander. I'm not sure what, but for the last few laps, I just couldn't nail that last sector. So you see, I try to close the door a little bit. I'm going to be respectful. He was respectful for me, so I'm not going to force him off the track. He goes on the outside. Now, I've done this before. I try to outbrake him, but he's in a GDR, so he gets better traction out of the exit. And he pulls up alongside me, and you see he just goes around the outside again. But this is really cool. This is what I mean. A driver, respectful. So we hit the corner side by side, no touching, no running off track, no forcing the issue. It was just clean, hard racing, and I lost the position fairly. So I was very happy with that. I can very thankfully concede a position cleanly. So that was really nice. No drop in SR, no damage to my driver's rating, none to his. So I think we can both appreciate that. We gave each other room, and it was just a good battle. So I lost out to the better man, basically. So, starting the last lap, coming down the main straight after this final right-hander. I was surprised with third. I did not expect me to be third on this last lap. So all this lap was about was just to keep it safe, keep it tidy, make this lap count, and then just get across the line on that podium spot. So the car helped me out in this one. It saved me. It did an amazing job. It was perfect. You know, I had nothing to worry about. So I just hope I can continue this feat through the rest of the series and just keep the momentum up. I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone that watched the live stream. I appreciate it so much. Obviously I'm new to all of this, so any subscribers is appreciated. And all the old ones that are still subscribed, thank you very much for continuing to watch, basically, this amateur Get Up the League there. And if you do like this content, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks guys, bye.